fish.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Expressing My Thoughts, the series where I take a look at the weirdest pieces of media and give my general opinion on them. 2023 is finally over, and for some reason it doesn't feel right. I'm just feeling some sort of post-Christmas blues or something. Luckily, Santa, as kind and overweight and hopefully not an anagram for Satan as it is, managed to spread a bit of the cheer by gifting me some stuff. I got some Uno, a harmonica, a Nintendo DS with Mario Kart DS already in the DS. There's no box, but whatever. The soundtrack for the original Guardians of the Galaxy on vinyl, and no Ziggy Stardust. I was going to originally complain to Santa and say, "Why, God, why must you do this to me? What did I do to deserve this?" And instead, what did they put in the stocking? Something else. But there was not really a bad Christmas movie in my stocking, so this whole send-up to a classic nostalgia critic wouldn't really work. But who cares about send-ups? It's the new year, the new lights, and a new line of absurdism to look at and laugh at. And I quite possibly might get the opportunity to make 2024 my I was about to say make 2024 my bitch, but that wouldn't work. You can't fuck a year. But I feel like things have just been too normal for too long. So, to quote a good old friend from Patty's Pub in North Philadelphia, I don't know how many years I have on this earth left, but might as well get really weird with it. And what better way to celebrate the year of weirdness than by covering more Aqua. Yeah, you all know where I'm going with it.
Number one in the hood, G.
Yeah, much to the surprise of pretty much everyone at Cartoon Network, the first season deservedly did really well in ratings and kickstarted the Adult Swim revolution. Yeah, eat your heart out, France. What did you get out of your revolution? The guillotine? The end of the feudal system? Their enemies, the British, getting portrayed as the villains of the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies? What chumps. So, the producer at the time, Mike Lazo, did what anyone would do to any show that has a successful first season. And that is by making another one that saw an equal amount of success. But is it as good as everyone remembered? Are all those accolades worth it? Well, let's find why I asked that question to begin with. Of course I'm gonna say yes. Why do you think I'm doing this?
Y'all ready?
Ayo.
DJ the fuck.
It's T, baby.
I don't think you're ready.
Okay, so for some reason the first 9 episodes of this season all have the word super in their titles. Maybe it was a studio mandate thing, or Matt and Dave thought it'd be funny for some of their episodes to have the exact same title. It honestly doesn't matter to me as long as the episodes are still funny, and luckily for the most part, they are.
You shall burn for your beliefs, witch! My pizza's here! Pizza time! Pizza time! Pizza time! Pizza time!
Frylock invents a computer that somehow manages to give a caveman temporary immortality. Temporary enough that he managed to live through to the modern time. Don't ask me how that works, I'm a writer, not Madame Curie. Supercomputer is a pretty strong start to the season overall, and not because of it having a complex plot or interconnected storyline or sharp continuity that spans over multiple seasons.
Give him Clam Digger.
I don't think Clam Digger is,
Clam Digger! Give Oog Clam Digger!
Oh, you're gonna love this, boy.
For the most part, nor does it have any of that. It's just your typical same old Aqua Teen. Just all-round fun laughs, in my opinion.
Front lobes develop, comprehend rational thought, master English language.
Hey, Meatwad! Your dad's here, he wants to make amends!
Also, if I'm allowed to be nitpicky McDonald's for at least 14.9 seconds, the name of the computer is also in Klingon for some reason. I'm not advocating against Star Trek here, but is it adult animation law to have at least one Star Trek reference? I don't know, that's always been a very minor annoyance to me. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. Anyways, Supercomputer's a pretty decent start to the season, going above, well, nothing, because this video is literally just start. What else am I supposed to say? Ooga's motion blur. I like a motion blur. Motion blur is my favorite thing of all time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use motion blur right now. There, I did it. I did motion blur. I'm got it, and nobody can convince me. I can't really make anything up. I can't really make anything else up if I try. What am I, some sort of 80-year-old Bob Dylan? Did I go too far for this one?
You went too fast for that one.
No, it went too far.
Bryce, the first one you had was fine. You just spoke way too quickly.
I know that. You know what, next, screw this segment, next segment. Alright, so this is a pretty odd one. Not to say that's bad or anything, it's honestly pretty fun to see how wild this episode could get, but unless your show is full on horror, these types of episodes are usually reserved for Halloween and... Okay, hold on, those muted colors are really starting to bother me. Hold on, let me fix that for a moment. There we go. A pretty fun episode overall, with a pretty neat twist of it all being a simulation at the end. Even the twist simulation was a simulation, so that joke was arguably being done way before Rick and Morty could get its hands on it. And I'm not just saying that because the original recording corrupted and I'm just stalling for time at this point. Screw it, let's move on. Meatwad wins 2 tickets to
A Super Bowl! Yeah!
That's it, I just wanted an excuse to use that clip. What happened to you, bud? You used to be cool. What else can I say? It's an Aqua Teen episode about the Super Bowl. Super Bowl? What else can I say? It's an Aqua Teen episode about the Super Bowl where they argue about who gets to go that aired on June of 2003, even though the event took place in January. Look, I'm not even from America, so I have no knowledge about the sport or even its significance to the country as a whole. I know personal preferences, I guess, but I don't know, it's just not my thing. Even European football bored me. Still pretty funny, though.
Well, see y'all later. I'm going to the Super Bowl.
Down in Motown, you see what I'm saying?
Hands down the best character in animation history, not gonna lie. Shake pretends to be a superhero called the Okay, let's try this again. To be a superhero called the Drizzle. I can't say that without laughing. Okay, Shake pretends to be a superhero called the Drizzle and gets covered in acid that starts to dissolve him. This was alright. The episode's mostly uneventful before Shake drenches himself with toxic fumes that slowly starts to kill him. But those last 3 minutes do elevate this episode from being okay to pretty good. Still going at the bottom of the list for the time being, but still, a consistently funny string of episodes so far. Definitely better than another string of episodes we got recently, but we'll get let up on the sit-upon when we get there.
Look who's locked out in the drizzle. Where's your poncho now?
Supermodel as Master Shake tries to make himself look beautiful. The episode. We asked for this, apparently? Yeah, this is a pretty one-note episode if I do say so myself. Some of the jokes are fine, and it's pretty standard up until Shake is convinced by Carl to get a full body lift, and oh god, Jesus, what is that? This is terrifying. I don't even know what to say. Why does he look like the unholy freeway offspring of Paris Hilton, Sid Barrett, and the enema of the state nurse? I'm just gonna straight get rid of this from the list. Like, I don't even want to look at this anymore. Jesus Christ.
Now wait for further instructions from Talking Hole in Neck. Screw that.
An alien spore named Travis of the Cosmos stays over the Aqua Teen's place for a few weeks. Yes, this isn't just an episode about spores, but it's also the second thing we've covered on the series that was about spores, the last time being Bjerk's Phasora from last year. Which reminds me, I should probably get to covering Death Grips in the near future, since their double LP, The Powers That Be, does sample Bjerk's vocals for the first half. But I also have to remind myself that the cover for No Love Deep Web has a full-on wang on the cover, so... Wait, hold on, I blacked out for a minute. What was I talking about again? Oh yeah, alien mushrooms. I feel like a broken record saying this, but this is yet again another solid episode of the season. Travis was funny, the way they write Shake out of the episode was also pretty funny.
Wonder what's playing.
Go!
Fine. I know when to go. You know what?
Go!
Even the scenes of Travis learning English from an erotic audiobook and Meatwad punishing Travis for swearing by also swearing at him made for some of the most underrated jokes in the entire show. Going above Super Birthday Snake. Would have done without the P jokes, honestly, that those were just pointless. I know this is calling it kettle black here, but there is an art to the P joke. And this ain't it.
Hey, who's your dead friend? He's dead.
Oh, you're leaving? What are you doing? You haven't even urinated on all of my house yet.
Okay, never mind, I take that back. The show is the king of this sort of humor.
And I just saw you eat 40 hot dogs, didn't I?
40? No. 48.
Oh god, Meatwad's accountable. Meatwad's accountable. Okay, that's it. Game over, man. Game over.
Darling, 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 there's no need to worry. It's just a couple things.
MCP Pens is back. Much to the chagrin of one of my commenters, but that's okay, I'm not throwing any shade. Anyways, MCP Pens returns as a cow under the alias Sirloin, and Meatwad gets addicted to his music and starts to go on a hunger strike. This is pretty much the same episode as the last one with some very notable changes. But I think Matt and Dave are sort of aware of that. Making sequels to episodes that didn't really need sequeling has been around a lot longer than you think. Just take a look at Roseanne, for example. And what better way to make fun of sequel episodes is by making a sequel episode about how dumb and pointless sequel episodes are. At least I think that was the intention. Please tell me that was the intention. I would feel unbelievably stupid if that wasn't the intention at all. Anyways, I don't really have much else to say considering that was all I wrote, so screw it. Let's put it at the top of this list for consistency's sake. I can't help but find humor in repetition. It's my biggest sin outside of, well, making people's ears bleed. Yeah, let's go with that.
Come gather round, people, wherever.
Super Squatter is Shake purposely forgets to pay the bills and now has to live off the grid. The episode. Again, not to come off as a broken record, even though I definitely am, sort of. This is another pretty solid episode with nothing else to add, except for the gang's floor in their house, with something blowing up every time they throw something onto it. It's sort of acknowledged in the mini-series Adult Swim uploaded to YouTube, but quite honestly I would have gone my whole life without knowing. It's a nice little detail to point out and I wanted to stay that way. Anyways, another pretty solid episode, I suppose. Going under Super Bowl.
That's what you said when the last show was on.
The last show was the popular lead-in, see? This is the show the network wants me to watch.
What the hell was that all about? I mean, I get that Aqua Teen is a weird show, but that was way too abstract even for me. This is it. Episode 9, the final episode of the show's super line of episodes. The one that will reign in infamy. And it's fine. Yeah, that's it. That's all I really have to say. I didn't even write anything down for this. That's the end. That's where it ends. Shake falls through the floor and discovers a sandwich forged in darkness with wheat harvested in hell's half-acre.
Baked by Beelzebub, slathered with mayonnaise beaten from the evil eggs of dark chicken forces into sauce by the hands of a one-eyed madman. Cheese boiled from the rancid teat of a fanged cow, layered with 666 separate meats from an animal which has maggots for blood.
God, I love that description so much. Honestly, this is what Super Birthday Snake should have been. This is a blend of comedy and horror that I can really vibe with, complete with some of the most well-written jokes in the whole show, and also highlights how unbelievably stubborn Shake is. Even after the show reached its peak with Cybernetic Ghost, it just keeps on climbing, and I do mean that it keeps at it, since we haven't even gotten to my personal favorite of the whole series yet. More on that next season.
I got the what now?
Everything about this episode is working at its maximum capacity. The jokes, the writing, the plot, the backgrounds, the ending. Good God, the ending with Shake passing the demon's test and getting free brain surgery that causes him to eat the sun-dried tomatoes, ultimately killing him in the episode ending. Easily the best example of an abrupt ending in the whole show without any doubt. Also, there's a point in the episode where it just stops so that we can watch these two shape people having a conversation about debating on if they want to relocate their work or not. I'm not saying that this scene alone dictated the direction that Adult Swim would later go in, since the whole idea of normalizing absurdity has been around a lot longer than the show, but you could definitely see sprinkles of that throughout shows like Tom Goes to the Mayor, Smiling Friends, and even web series like Llamas with Hats, and even David Lynch's very own Rabbits, to name a few. Wait, the short was released before this episode? Well, it shouldn't have. Overall, yeah, I like this episode. It definitely qualifies as my second favorite episode in the whole show, and it easily beats out everything else we've covered so far. The Broodwich...
The Blair Witch is here!
is going at the top of the entire ranking so far. Meat Canyon gets the ability to see a few seconds into the future. Long story short, this is basically just a parody of 1983's The Dead Zone, which I've surprisingly never seen. Weird, since I'm a pretty massive fan of anything Cronenberg does, whether it be good, bad, good, or Jason X. And it also has Christopher Walken as the lead role, and who doesn't love Christopher Walken? So I can't really judge this as a send-up to the movie per se, and more as just an okay episode. The explosion prediction and the lottery number scene was pretty funny. There was a reference to The Prophecy, which is another movie starring Christopher Walken that I hadn't seen yet. Carl has flight for some reason, and yep, that's everything notable that I have to mention about this. It's going below Super Squatter.
So you're storing extra oil in your septic tank. Come on, you...
You're wearing my denim!
Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, this video is sponsored by The Bathroom. The Bathroom, for when deadlines are a necessity. You know, once you get past the acoustics, it's actually not that bad of a recording room, if I do say so myself. The Plutonians invent a robot made out of remotes who messes around with the Aqua Teen's TV and likes slasher movies for some odd reason. Now, for the people who've seen the previous episode in the series, you probably expect for me to put this very low on account of me not being the biggest fan of any Plutonians episode. But then something happened. Something that shook me to my dear core, and is so unexpected that it still haunts me to this very day. I actually like this episode.
Retinal scan on.
Damn it! Wrong laser! Why didn't you label them?
Well, you said don't label them because it was top secret and no one was supposed to know.
Well, now you label them!
Like I said in the previous video, the only reason why I don't like these episodes compared to the rest of the series is that their title characters are both pretty one-note characters, and are archetypes that we've seen before with Pinky and the Brain, except Brain is now German and Pinky reminds me of a few friends at college. But allow me to mention that there are right ways of making their one-note personalities funny, and this was one of the episodes that succeeded at doing so. Okaforub trying his best to differentiate his invention from the Stargate was pretty funny, same with the t-shirt gag too. Side note, I mentioned this particular scene to H-Bomber Guy on Twitter, and he ever so generously replied with nothing because I never messaged him. No, seriously, I never did. I'm not wasting the last of my fleeting dignity on sending an out-of-context Aqua Teen clip to frickin' H-Bomber Guy. Demo will kill me! Not to mention the fictional puppet shows that were made for this episode are appropriately surreal, unlike the one in Super Squatter, and the design for the titular Universal Remonster? Very impractical, but also pretty fun. Overall, Universal Remonster is a pretty spectacular episode, and is going to rank at a respectable second place next to the Broodwich. Which I just realized is also based on a Cronenberg movie. At this point, this whole show should have been called David Cronenberg's Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I know it wouldn't be nearly as successful, but how else would you explain some of the plots in these later episodes?
Yep. I thought it was about time we invested in a high-definition plasma screen.
I thought you said TV was bad.
It is, but we f***ing need it.
Carl gets torn to shreds by an environmental toilet, and now it's up to Frylock to replace his body. At this point, I've just sort of accepted defeat and will admit to actually laughing at a poop joke. They're normally the kiss of death for any comedy for me, but here they kinda work due to it having some sort of a sense of self-awareness to it. But who knows, I might have extrapolated that directly from my ass or something. Extrapolate directly from my ass. My jokes are becoming more dad-like by the second. I don't have much to say about this episode. It's actually pretty great. I love Carl's reactions to whenever he gets a new body, and even the scene where they realize that giving him an indestructible titanium body would be a little too dangerous considering that, well, he's Carl, and they put his head onto a remote-controlled toy truck instead. 10 out of 10, chef's kiss, best thing I have heard all day. His eyeball body design is also very humorous to look at, and one of the bodies outright rejecting it. I just can't. Total Recall is going onto the Broodwich, although it is pretty satisfying to see Meatwad finally giving Shake his just desserts at the end.
No, I need to leave!
Zone in target. Got him. Fuck you, butthole.
The trees get tree-venged on Shake after he dumps a vat of oil onto their property, and signs him up for a trial against his will. I like the idea of a tree court case a lot. I know there's a lot of opportunities for pretty decent laughs there, but I don't know, this was just fine.
Okay, Carl, look into the camera, state your name, and what you like best about me.
Hey, zoom in on this. Happy Labor Day!
That was our one balloon.
This is another episode that's going under Super Squatter, and seriously, I shouldn't be putting this many episodes under that friggin' episode. If the next episode isn't as good as the last few, I'm going to have an absolute shit fit, let me tell you. Okay, I'm not, but, well, I would just be mad, okay? Carl puts up a security system that attracts a few drunk driving aliens, which one of them proceeds to abandon. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of forgot how big it was to satirize the stereotypes of what it was like to be in high school in the early 2000s. Whether it be Beverly Hills, nerds, sororities, or in this case, frat boys. But over here we just call them lads. I've been around a few lads, and let me just tell you, it's not fun. They're annoying, self-absorbed, horny, and always like to pick a fight, even if there's no need to. They're not human. And seeing episodes like this that endlessly mock the lad lifestyle is kinda comforting to me. And also, it's pretty funny. Shake getting absolutely plastered, Meatwad's village people cosplay, Carl's completely indifference towards the frat aliens, so much that he tricks the aliens into thinking Frylock is a woman and then nopes his way back into his house. Even the Plutonians make a cameo at the end in a pretty funny callback to the start of the episode. And best of all, this episode is better than Super Squatter, so already I am back on the Aqua Teen Hunger train. Thank God for that, I left my passport out there. Zach Wilde, the friggin' guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, is pissed after Master Shake spends all of his money on a song he made for Meatwad's birthday. And that song just so happened to suck. Again, nothing visually funny is happening, but what really makes it interesting are the leads. Their line deliveries are so casual half the time that you'd swear that they didn't even have a script. Which makes the absurdity of their situations a lot more fun to enjoy, like the Scorpion animatronics with guns and missiles, and Zach's axe literally being an axe. Okay, that's actually pretty clever.
Hey y'all, it's snowing. They gonna cancel school.
Oh no. What kind of car is it? Don't tell me it's a chariot driven by a train of white stallions.
Oh, it's a chariot driven by a train of white stallions.
Oh, hell, it's Zach!
Also, during this song sequence at the beginning, Shake randomly starts head bopping for no reason at all. And then just stops. And then he starts again. And then he stops. Why did I find that funny? Overall, another pretty solid episode overall. Spirit Journey Formation Anniversary is going above Super Sirloin.
Look, just get your damn friends in here.
Sherlock, I'm friends with a toilet paper tube, an apple, and a box. I'm crazy in the head.
Well, you gonna diss me, boy. Diss me to my face.
Oh my god, a fax machine? I haven't seen one of those in years! That's it. That's the only thing I can remember from this episode. The ending of Carl's rented car getting torn to shreds and his head blowing up in anger was pretty funny, I suppose. Damn, there are a lot more duds in this season than I realize. Not to say that they're bad or anything, but I find that the series is at its best when an episode is devoid of making sense. This is just a regular show episode of the weird stuff that made the show memorable happened in the last 2 minutes or so. This sucks. Going on a superhero.
They stopped taking my calls like long ago.
Well, we're kind of not detectives anymore.
It took you 31 episodes to confirm that? Oh, Jesus Christ, this episode. Okay, this is not to say that Season 2 is bad by any means necessary. As a matter of fact, this is the exact pinpoint where ATHF ended up becoming one of my favorite shows of all time. Even if it did have its mediocre duds here and there is a sense of passion going towards each episode. Except for this one, however. Again, this is another episode that I'm not entirely keen on and that I've literally written nothing about. The cubes are unbelievably annoying, which I get was the point considering that this is satirizing people who built their lives off of the MTV era of pranks like the Tom Green Show or Punk'd. But I feel like we've already seen a parody of annoying 2000s adolescents in this show. And that's because we did with the Frat Aliens, and that was literally 4 episodes ago. By all means, the only funny part of this episode is when the cubes get torn to shreds by a helicopter at the end. Because at least we're all graced with a gratitude of never seeing these Damasahetratrons ever again. Also, Meatwad's story about starting a pressure washing business, I guess. That was admittedly pretty cute. The cubing is by far my least favorite episode in the entire show, but at least it actually has the gratitude of staying on the list, unlike Supermodel. But it's going at the bottom of the list without a doubt. I'm not even going to play a clip from it just doesn't deserve it. Let's move on because, Jesus Christ, this video is already half an hour long and it's midnight and I need to go to sleep. And at long last, we run into a pretty great episode once again. An onion-looking guy named Willie Nelson stops by and claims that he's a monster that lives in the gang's attic. And that's it. See, this is why I consider Meatwad as my favorite character in the whole show. Because he predicted the 2012 cinematic masterpiece, The Amazing Bulk. What a meat of great culture. The shaving is freaking sweet. Probably one of my favorites in the whole season. Tight writing, fun jokes, and even the introduction of the hella underrated Willie Nelson, voiced by Steven Universe actor Tom Sharpling. That's rad! Which is more I can say about the previous episode, that's for sure. Even the ending revealing what Willie Nelson's attic looks like got a major laugh out of me for the first time in a good long while. Not to give anything away, but Carl gets his arms torn off. I gotta say, I like it a lot. Going above Total Recall.
Because they'll know.
And wear this sailor's hat, too.
Would you mind, please? We're working here.
I just think the sailor's hat adds a nice...
It's gonna land us one of those rainbow flags to hang out front. Now get out of here!
Uh-oh. Looks like Toyer's gonna have a field day with this one.
Hang on, Dr. Weird?
My ass has finally decided to eat my hand! It hungers for more!
That soundbite has been living rent-free in my head ever since I watched SMG4 as a kid. Carl tries on a new wig that slowly turns him into a clown. Wait a minute, wasn't that a side plot in another Cinema Snob movie? I'm not entirely sure, that movie was just nothing but side plots. Pick a damn lane, Brad! I love this one. The jokes perfectly complement the episode's surreal tone, and the ending made for a pretty well set up punchline. Not to mention, 2 Dr. Weird skits in one episode, acting somewhat like a bookend to it. Ain't that a treat? That's it. It's just funny.
I don't know about you, but I see this as peak comedy.
A robot chicken, a little on the nose, don't you think, Adult Swim? Stops by at the gang's house and tells a convoluted story about... Okay, this is literally just the Cybernetic Ghost episode again, but it focuses more on the future of the turkey species. And the ending is pretty funny, I suppose.
You have got to be frickin' kidding me.
What are you eating?
This is your great, your mother.
At least the creators did own up to the fact that they're making the same episode as before, except that it doesn't have Danzig in it. And the story being as, if not more ridiculous than the first episode, does kinda save it for me. It's still pretty fun, going below the meat zone.
Enjoy those tacos now, for in 1,000 years they will be illegal. I think we all know why.
Damn, and I thought The Simpsons was the only adult animated show that could predict the future. And not in a good way in this case. Well, too late to rewrite all of that now.
Now let's see how it looks so far. The time!
Fun fact, this was the point in the series where I realized that the show wasn't narratively driven. Which is kind of embarrassing since this is near the end of season 2 where I realized that. I probably should have realized that by, episode 4, but I need to be sure. Frylock has finally had enough of Shake ruining his life and his work, so he moves out of the house, leaving the rest of the gang to fend for themselves, which ultimately causes their house to start going the wayside of Disney Plus in the process. And it's good! Honestly would have worked as a pretty serviceable finale to the season. I mean, I like the finale that we got, but as someone who grew up with shows like Friends and serialized Bill Nye the Science Guy with a wasted Kevin Sussman performance attached, I'm very used to characters moving out or leaving to somewhere like France or the Arctic Circle at the end of the season. But maybe that's just a weird personal preference of mine, I don't know. But it's still really great. It's still great.
Hello?
Aren't you coming back?
Hell no!
Frylock uses a cloning machine to create a TV that shows him in an alternate universe gunning down the whole gang. And after that, chaos!
Awesome! Awesome! Friggin' awesome! I'm on TV! I look pretty good! Chicken skin diet's really paying off for me.
From the TV gaining sentience to George Washington showing up to talk about how greed is bad only for Frylock to gun him down. If the Broodwich is my favorite Aqua Teen episode of the season, then this would be the show at its most chaotic. I know the other episodes can get a little wild later on, but let me tell you, none of them are this. Oh boy, none of them are like this. It's like if Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas had a TV show. Nothing but surreal non sequiturs all year round.
I was right in the middle of a fucking reptile zoo.
Oh, we can amp up the surreal alright. How about two fan-favorite villains we haven't seen in a while hosting a press conference with other villains who've shown up in the series thus far? Oh, I'm not kidding, that actually happened! Alright, so for the few Boxy fans who've been wondering where the Mooninites have been for the past couple of episodes, they've been preparing for a conference with all the other villains in the series where they plan their victory over the Aqua Teens. Not just showing that there is a lot of opportunities for comedy with this premise, but showing that the finales are always the best part of any Aqua Teen season. Almost. The last one is an unbelievably hilarious non sequitur look at a few side characters from the last 42 episodes of the series, and gives the Mooninites some proper time to shine as not just antagonists, but funny antagonists, plotting the downfall of the Aqua Teens by forming the Super League of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Monday. No, it's just 1 week. Please stop.
But keep on screwing up along the way because they're all so genuinely incompetent. And it's great. David Cross and Todd Field also makes a grand return to the series, and even Carl ends up helping out the Aqua Teens by tricking the League into thinking that they've moved to Honolulu, marking this as one of his only selfless acts in the show's early season.
I have genuinely nothing else to say, but this takes the cake for me. A solid episode overall, and a great way to end the season.
You just hurry up and fire it, it's getting heavy!
You with all the great plans. You shall not see the next decade. You shall never know that turtlenecks will come back in a big way.
Damn!
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Florgan and Dingle.
Florgan and what?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Florgan and what?
Alright, so I've just finished editing the whole episode, and I realized I forgot to put in an ending, so well,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's the apple.